If you want to smooth the ceiling after removing the popcorn texture, you'll need to sand down the ceiling and use joint compound to fill in any uneven spots or imperfections left by the popcorn removal. Let me show you how to do this. Now that we have gotten all of this scraped off, we've had time for it to dry. Now we're gonna take our full circle 360 hole sander. I would go with the round one and not the square one. This makes it really easy for this type of stuff. And then I have a 220 grit sandpaper on here. And now we're gonna start going over the ceiling and making it nice and smooth so we can start to add our primer and our paint. Let's get started. We're gonna need a couple things: our mask, our safety glasses, so we don't get any dust in our eyes. The next step after sanding is to just look over it really carefully. You need to have good lighting for this, so even if you take a flashlight, just look over it, make sure there's no like little pinholes anywhere. And if you see some spots, get up there on a ladder and put your hand and see if it's smooth or not. And that's gonna determine if it's ready for primer and then paint. If you have any areas that you might have gouged out some of the paper, like this right here, for example, just to show you kind of what I'm talking about. This area right here, so you see this was already like this, but we're gonna fix that today. If you have paper showing like this, you need to use a bin primer. This is really good for this. The drywall mud won't stick if it doesn't have the paper on there. You can just spray this on here. And what that does is it seals that up so you can go ahead and put some mud and fill up these spots. We also have a spot right here. Doesn't look too good. We're gonna go over this and get that all smoothed out. Now you can buy some drywall mud already mixed up. If you buy it already mixed up, you don't have to mix it. But if you do it that way, it's gonna take probably a day or so for it to dry. Even in small amounts, it takes forever to dry. Let me show you an easier way. You can buy drywall mud to mix up. This is USG, Easysand 45. This stuff dries really fast. We're gonna put a little bit in here, put a little bit of water. Now I have this mixed up. This is just sink water. If you use any kind of purified water, sometimes it can act weird with this stuff. So just get some sink water if you have some, a faucet outside, anything like that. Just regular water would work best. Also have just a drywall pan. I'm gonna put it in and we're gonna mix it together. I don't like mixing too much up at one time because when you do, you wind up where you can't use it. I usually use a hawk for this. That's another thing you can use, but I just thought this would be easier because you may not be familiar with using a hawk for drywall. So this will be easy. Just pour a little bit of water, not too much, just a little bit, mix it up. A little bit more water. You want it to be like peanut butter, spreadable. A little bit more water. You got to work fairly fast with this because if you don't, it will dry up on you really quick. I wouldn't buy the plastic one if I was you because you're going to get those plastic shavings. Just spend the extra money if you get one of these, get the metal, and you can use it over and over and over again. That's how I like to use it. Right through here, we're going to need to add some more. This is kind of our troubled area. The only spot that I really noticed, other than some small little divots, probably good enough. We have a spot back here in the back we needed to address. The smoother you get this on here, the less you're gonna have to sand. So that's pretty important. You gotta move fairly fast with this stuff because it will start to dry. That's why I only mix up so much of it. Another piece right here. We're gonna use our bins primer. Gonna give that a minute to dry while we find some other little spots we could fill in, like this one here. Bin dries really fast. It's really hot in here. So now that this is dry, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go back over it with our sanding disc. Everything is done and everything looks nice and smooth. We're gonna go ahead and get all this popcorn ceiling stuff out of here, take the plastic up, and put down our paper, and we can get ready for some primer. That's what we're gonna do next. So now you know how to go about fixing any little divots or anything that you have on the ceiling left that you might need to fix before you paint and primer. So I hope you found some use out of this video. If you did, hit the like button. See you in the next one. Booyah!